I'm ready. It's that fast. Pass that to Heather if you don't mind. Thank you. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It is just after 2 o'clock and it is our regular council meeting of January the 27th, and I'd like to call the meeting to order. And the first item on our agendas this evening or this afternoon is the adoption of the agenda. If I could have a resolution, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Resolved, the agenda for the meeting be adopted as circulated with the noted additions. Planning hearings, 13.3, conditional use 61-2025 for 5/20/22 Quebec Road, honestly commence administrative remote report amended. Opposition, Etches and Booza, and opposition, Ward Kerr.
Okay, anything else for the agenda today? Go ahead, Councillor Strang.
Madam Mayor, I would just like to bring up about a letter of support that goes with subdivisions, just for a discussion, please.
Okay. Anything else from members of council? All right, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowicz, Councillor Sutherland seconds, all in favor, opposed, carried. And I should have mentioned, when I called the meeting to order, Councillor Belanger will not be with us today, and Councillor Horvis is just running a little bit late and should be here shortly, so. We'll move on to the confirmation of the minutes, and we have two sets of minutes, the regular council meeting from January the 13th, and the committee of whole from January the 20th. So if I could have that resolution, please.
Resolve the minutes of January 13th, 2026 regular meeting of council and January 20th, 2026 committee of the whole be adopted as presented.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Strang, Councillor Spicer seconds. Any amendments to either of those minutes? Corrections, additions, something not recorded exactly correct? Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
I had sent in a couple notes and they have been correct.
Those have been correct.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Anything else? Okay, have a mover, have a seconder, call the question, all those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, Lebo Community Club for 215, are you on your own or are you expecting?
This is all you got. And I left work to come here, so.
Well, if you're not expecting anybody else, I know it's before 2:15, but if you wanna do your presentation, I think we're okay with that, or did you wanna wait till Councillor Horvis arrived?
I don't know. I think Councillor Horvis wanted to participate in this.
Okay, so maybe.
I believe so.
Yeah, so we'll just go on to our next part and then we'll come back to you. Okay, perfect, thank you. So we'll go down to communications for action, number 5 on our agenda. And we have a couple there. The first one is the AMM Together All Platform webinar.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is the Together All platform. It was offered through AMM for all participant communities. We have known about it, and as a matter of fact, a little over a year ago, we had implemented it for our RM already. So what it does is it offers an option of being able to, at a community level, look at dealing with mental well-being for all community members as well as employees. So we've deployed it already with our firefighters as one mechanism on top of additional supports that they have, as well as any staff member can log into this. They're able to connect into it, use the community resources. We did put up, communicate this with our website to our residents, as well as we did communicate in our newsletters. Now AMM has seen some good success with this and are encouraging more and more communities to take advantage of it in the current environment where it's a safe place, you're protected, it's a safe environment where you can have a conversation and maybe see other people that are maybe dealing with some of the similar types of issues and so forth, or just have supports that sometimes people need. Because not everyone wants to go directly to a healthcare provider to deal with these types of scenarios. So this is just another way of reaching out to all our residents. And so we felt it was a good model. Now they're offering a Zoom training, a Zoom session. It'll be held on February 18th at 11 a.m. And the link has been provided in the connection for any council members that may want to watch this. After the Zoom meeting, what we'll also do is take a look at when Marissa's back, and we'll highlight it on our website more. So it is a separate platform, so once you go to our website, you connect into that platform, and that's where you access all these services. So the only difference is that there's no cost to our residents or to our municipalities' services, because it's built into our membership with AMM and some of the other through our insurance provider of the Western, if I can, Western Financial Group.
Okay,
So I can bring forward a resolution to
please
see if
do.
anybody's interested in attending this. It's just a Zoom presentation. So resolved that Mayor Feeblecorn and why don't we just put in Mayor Feeblecorn Council, and then anyone that wants to attend.
Yeah, because there's no cost
There's no cost.
involved, and then we can either do it here or you can do it from home, or
Correct.
whatever.
Yeah, you can show up at the office here. We can set it up on the screen so we can look at it. So resolve Mayor Feeblecorn and Council be authorized to attend the Western Financial Group Together All platform webinar via Zoom on February 18th, 2026.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Bazarowicz, second Counselor Strang. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call a question. All those in favor? Opposed, and that is carried. Sorry about that, Counselor Strang. I was thinking Sandra, not Strang. Sorry about that. Okay, 5.2, Grand Marais Community Central. They're having a belated Valentine dinner.
Yes, Madam Mayor. So the GMCC is planning in advance to have a belated Valentine's dinner. And the intent is to have a special night out, and which is coming with a dinner and desserts and so forth with non-alcoholic beverages. And they'll also have a silent auction. They'll be raising funds to help out with to support the GMCC. And just wondering if any of the council members are interested in attending.
I did put down that I would go, but I guess it depends on what the weather's like and if there's anything else that's going on that day, but I did put down. So Heather, if you just hang on before you reply that I will be there, so that would be great.
Sure.
That's okay. Thank you. Okay,
Resolve Mayor Feeblecorn be authorized to attend the belated Valentine's dinner. Councilor Horbis, would you be interested in going to Valentine's dinner at GMCC since you just got here?
GMCC?
yeah, on
On-
February the 19th.
It's a belated,
It's a belated Valentine's dinner and it's a Thursday night.
sort of a fundraiser. $25 per person. The RM, of course, will be covering those costs.
Who's on
You'll be
board?
represented. So far, just,
I guess I have the date then.
Yeah.
okay, so I'll change that. So resolve Mayor Feeblecorn. Sorry, Councilor Spicer, did you say you wanted to go? Oh,
No, I was saying the mayor needs a date.
Brings the crowd in.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not being the third wheel.
resolved, Mayor Feeblecorn and Councilor Horbis, or Councilor David Horbis, be authorized to attend the belated Valentine's dinner at the Grand Marais Community Central, Grand Marais, Manitoba, on February 19th, 2026.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Sutherland, second Counselor Bazarowicz. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And I was just gonna mention, if anybody else decides that they wanna go, just let Heather know, and I'm sure that we'll be able to find them their tickets, so. Okay, we did wait till you arrived, Counselor Horbis, so our delegation from the Lebo Community Club is patiently waiting, so I think we'll bring them forward now and they can do their presentations.
I could just sit here all day and listen to you guys. It's quite interesting and should join more of them. But thank you for allowing me, to attend tonight and putting us into your schedule, because I know It was kind of the beginning of January that we were just trying to get the ball rolling. So many of you still probably know that since 2024, we've been desperately trying to raise funds for our bathroom upgrades. So it is still a project that we are adamant about and we want to get it completed and accomplished. So we did receive funds from South District Community Foundation. We did get the grant from them for $16,500. The timeline of that though is cutting it close. So essentially we have till April of 2026 to kind of, like, the ball needs to start, right? There has been a talk, I do have a document already written up for possibly doing an extension, and I can submit that up to today, with kind of altering some words depending on what council maybe comes up with for us. So originally, the biggest focus was that we had a wheelchair accessible bathroom within our community space, because as of right now, it is located in the men's bathroom and it's just not really providing that privacy. If it's a female going into the male's bathroom, so on and so forth, you have to close the door. But so that was our main focus, was to be able to get a family washroom, wheelchair accessible washroom within the building. So in order for that to happen, we need to kind of reconstruct the women's side of the bathroom. So with that being said, that the women's side of the bathroom would then be kind of individualized rooms, which would be 4 partitions. And then that would allow us to go to the men's side and then turn that completely into the wheelchair accessible handicap room. But because of the cost of everything, it is so expensive to get both of them done. So we are kind of looking at doing the main bathrooms for right now. The quotes that we've been getting are from multiple contractors. We've had about 5 of them come in. And just to do the 4 individual rooms, the partitions, is coming to $66,000 to $54,000. So, and then the family accessible washroom, that's been quoted separately on its own. We're looking at $29,000 to $28,000 to get that set up and done. Now, with that being said, having to do the 4 individual bathrooms on the women's side, we do need to remove a wall, which then takes into our bar space. So we have a closet space on the other side of the men's bathroom. So you can imagine that either side of the, I guess the east and west part of the club mimics the exact same space. So then we would turn that coat closet, essentially what it is now, into the bar afterwards. So I wish you guys could just like have a presentation at the club with me today so I can explain this a little bit better. But so that's kind of where we're at. If we're gonna go over funding a little bit. So over the last 2 years, as you guys know, we have done multiple fundraisers in 2024 and 2025. So those fundraisers, every time we've had them, we've advertised where the money was getting allocated to, and we always said bathrooms, bathrooms, bathrooms. So we managed to raise in 2 years $22,000, just over $22,000 to go towards these bathrooms. But we do have in our bank account right now $55,000, which is wonderful. Our expenses for expenses and operating costs for 2024 and 2025 just came under $18,000. So as ideally as it would be to use that entire fund to go towards the bathroom renovations, it's just not realistic. We have to reserve funds for the yearly expenses. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. And then yeah, so if we have $22,735 exactly of our own money. We have $16,500 coming from South District Community Foundation, and that is why we were asking for a lovely $20,000 from the Arms St. Clements for the grant. Yeah, so with that being said, generally then that would give us enough money to get that main washrooms going. And then remembering that we have to fork out the $16,500 first to South District Community Foundation before they can actually reimburse us with that money. So we still have to have a reserve set aside for that. Once we do get those funds back, then hopefully we can start to tackle that wheelchair accessible bathroom like right away. So that is essentially our plan for our bathrooms. I don't know, what else do you wanna hear?
I don't know, I'm just gonna see if council has any questions and
For
then we
sure.
can go from there. So go ahead, Councillor Corbus.
So you have 22 plus the 16, so you have roughly 40 grand, 48,000, 49,000 set aside, or no, I'm sorry, 39,000 set aside for the washrooms, correct? And
So
then you-
technically, if, like, we are looking at a lower number for the bathrooms, if we are looking at the total of the bathrooms costing us $53,267.57, if we get money from, well, we do have money from Suffolk District, we raised our 22,000, and then if we grab a $20,000 grant from you guys, technically, what your cost would actually be using is 14,067.
But how much money do you have in your bank account today?
We have the 55,000.
55,000,
but
and
we-
you, plus, you're gonna have 16,500 from the
Community
the
Foundation.
community foundation, so you'll have a total of $71,500. And you say your operating expenses for a year is 18,000, right?
Yes,
So that leaves you with, 50, is it 50? 53,000 roughly to go towards your bathrooms, right? Cause you need 18 to operate the year, you have it all broken down or whatever, right?
yes.
Okay,
But to get the main bathroom and the family bathrooms completed,
yeah, no, I realize that, but you're gonna start with the one.
we're looking at $82,000 just to get that done, and we don't have that even with your 20,000, right? So, it's kind of why we're asking for the full. And, yeah,
But could we, as I've asked before, could we have,
Project manager?
yeah,
I think you have one question before.
oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Scott.
Are you totally tied to the design that you're using?
so we've changed the design multiple times and to see how we can realistically make this work. And we've like finally finalized the design last week, and I mean, it did change multiple times. We decided maybe let's throw it to the men's side instead, and this way we don't have to, we have more room, or vice versa. But then it came back to the HVAC system that's in there. Now that's more money to move all that, like the, and then we have more electrical on that side. So then that cost just kept climbing. So the cheapest route for us to go was the design where it goes now towards the women's side of the bathroom. But I'm definitely open to all ears if, anyone else has different types of designs, but,
Go ahead.
That's why I think that,
If I could ask a question?
Yeah, go right ahead, yeah.
These designs, who are they, have they been completed by building professionals, like an engineer or an architect?
no, they have not. They're just kind of, under the assumption of all the contractors, kind of, 25 years of experience, going down in the basement, looking at the structure of like the walls itself, the flooring, where all the electrical goes, the HVAC system goes. So, as I wouldn't say smarter contractors come in, but very helpful and useful contractors who are very brilliant, are the ones, like the last one that kind of came in was like, very supportive of us and spent an additional 2 hours with us there of his own free time, giving, like positive criticism as to why our original plan wouldn't work and why this one works better. So, but I would love to get an engineer to kind of come in and give us something, but unfortunately, again, I think that costs money, so.
If I could have a follow-up, Madam Mayor?
Go right ahead.
So just as a comment and a question on this, I don't think those contractors are looking at any of the other spaces that you're impacting. And the challenge that happens is that the building that you're in is considered an assembly occupancy. As an assembly occupancy building, when you go in and modify any part of it, any other part that is associated with it, falls under the code. So let's say if something was built in 1950, it was built under the building code and the technical requirements at that time. And then when you go to modify, so in that building, as an example of this building, if we modify just this room, the new code would only apply to this part of the building. But the moment we punch a hole through this wall and go to the other room, then that room gets impacted. So that's why I asked about the professionals involved.
Yeah, I would love to, honestly. It would kind of alleviate some of my stress a little bit. But yeah, like we want to do this right, we want to do it well. Just the problem is like it comes again with, you know, finances, right? So like every step we go, it's like, oh, there's another 1,000, oh, there's another 2,000, right? And so we're kind of hanging on to with what we can hang on. I think we've done a great job at raising $22,000 in the last 2 years, but maybe it's peanuts to some, but it's like a success for us. So, you know, but if you guys could guide us in the right direction, I would very much appreciate it.
I think Councillor Strang had a question or a comment. Go ahead,
Hats
Sandra.
off. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hats off to your fundraising that you guys have done right now. The other thing is you mentioned a timeline. What is the timeline on is that the Selkirk Foundation monies or,
Yeah,
and what is your timeline on that?
We have till April of 2026, so now we're crunching it, right? But I've been in contact with them every 6 months just to say, hey, this is where we are. I've not left them in the dark whatsoever, so I think it's fair to ask for an extension of this grant. So, yeah.
Okay, anything else?
So could we,
Go ahead.
could we get,
Our project manager?
our project manager to come and help them? Like
Yes.
he does all this stuff with older buildings and that. He can come in there, give you probably a better plan. And he's not a contractor. He's not trying to upsell you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he'll do the cheapest and most efficient and best way for you.
I love that idea, and I
Yeah.
definitely need to, you know, run it across our board, but I'm pretty sure I could persuade them. So, if we can go that route, yes.
Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
While you're talking to your board, you can tell them that, this gentleman was our representative for building our new activity center. And also has assisted someone in Grand Marais, I believe, with
Correct.
the recreation center.
Which encountered that exact same problem. that he's been through.
Yeah,
And they have
So-
a multi-million-dollar problem.
I don't want that.
See,
So I
Sorry,
think from,
multi-$100,000.
Yeah.
from our perspective, I guess what we can tell you is, as Councilor Harvest has said, we have,
comfort.
faith in this gentleman to do what is right and what is affordable. And he knows enough about it so that if you do X, it's going to turn into Y, and do you really wanna do X? So that's why, the suggestion's being made.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's kind of why I'm here today, is because I need help. So, yeah.
Okay, any other questions from members of council? Go ahead, Councillor Sutherland.
I guess it's up to DPAC to, but just know that we would be covering the cost of that.
If council directs me, we will be covering the costs of providing the professional engineer / architect, similar to what we did with the Grand Marais Community Center, Grand Marais Recreation Center, where we were able to cover the costs in order to make sure that all costs were managed for the future.
Maybe that's kind of why smaller community clubs just kind of do what they do, and just because of funding, right? And to get like all the professionalism that needs to be involved into getting something permanent and, you know, engineering and, you know, the money symbols just keep going higher and higher, and it's, you know, I mean, I will fundraise for the next 20 years then to get these bathrooms done, right? So, we just need some support and,
Well, it's gonna help you when you go to the planning board too, because he's got a relationship there with them and
for
all
sure.
that kind of stuff. So I think it's in your best interest that he comes and looks at this, maybe your idea, he has a way to change it, it might all change for you,
For
but when he
sure,
presents it to
yeah.
you, it might make more sense.
Yeah, and we're like, I'm definitely open towards that, and I'm sure my board will be too. Any help that we can get, it's always appreciated, right? So, we're just trying to make something for our community, cause we really do have nothing in there, so. Yeah, that's kinda where we're at, so.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I think what council is going to do is discuss it a little bit further this afternoon, and we will let you know probably in the next day or so,
Okay.
day or two.
Yeah.
On which route we're going.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I didn't catch your name when you first came in.
Oh, it's Ashley,
Ashley?
from Marchuck.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything, there's nothing else, go ahead, Dave.
I'd just like to say, you and your committee,
Mhm.
keep up the good work.
We're
It's
trying.
nice to see that building
Yeah,
get a little bit rejuvenated.
For
again,
sure,
rather
yeah.
than sitting vacant, which it
absolutely.
probably would have been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it
It
would have
was.
been, for sure, right? So, but we just try to do good for the community and give somewhere as close to home for people to enjoy and then to mingle and to know each other, right? So, on that note though, we did apply for the Ground Up grant, just letting you know. But we did not apply for the bathrooms for the grant because I did apply for the bathrooms for that grant in 2024. I thought my, documents were solid. The application itself, it was written and revised by a lot of people. So we thought we were gonna get approval in 2024 from the Ground Up, but we did not unfortunately get that. So this time around, we are applying for the kitchen grant. So just kind of looking for maybe a letter of support. And I know, I can always maybe hand that in a little bit late to Ian, but I think he might be okay to put it
Oh, I'm
towards
sure
our
he will
file,
be okay
so,
with that.
Yeah.
When you're doing that, I don't know why I keep forgetting his name. Victor, when Victor's there,
Yeah.
tell him about the kitchen too,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
And he'll give you ideas and tell you what you have to do there,
Yeah.
he'll help you with all that too.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay?
So,
Yeah.
just a point,
Go
my
ahead.
understanding is that our recreation manager did have a discussion with the Suffolk District Community Foundation. And they said that they were amicable to possibly giving an extension till December of this coming
Yeah,
year.
right, yes, he did reach out to them, possibly till when, December?
December of this year, from
Oh.
April,
Okay.
to give you the flexibility.
Mhm,
That doesn't negate the
mhm.
urgency of the issue, it's just saying that there's a possibility.
Yeah, and this all takes time, right? Like, it's not gonna happen overnight. We understand that, but we now know that the push is really on to get this done, so whether they do kindly give us the extension till December, we much appreciate it. But still December will be here before we know it. So yeah, we gotta get things moving, and we would love to have a new kitchen for our community club, of course, so. But all with great time, I guess, right?
You were also
Oh, go ahead.
you're also mentioning some letters of support you needed or something for your applications for?
Yeah, just,
Yeah.
yeah,
On the agenda.
Okay.
yeah, if you're okay with that, so.
Oh, yeah.
I do kind of feel like I will be honest, left kind of in the dust a little bit over the last year. So, but it's kind of, maybe I should have been a little bit more persistent, or maybe our board should have been a little bit more persistent of coming forth and asking for help a year ago versus now, but here we are, so we'll just keep pushing, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I would ask is if you could give Heather your contact information if we don't already have it, because we will be wanting to get a hold of you in, like I say, in the next few days.
Absolutely, yeah,
Okay.
for sure, okay.
Perfect.
And then Heather's just up front there.
Heather's.
Oh, hi, Heather. You have it all?
She's hiding.
Okay, wonderful, perfect, okay.
Okay, perfect,
Is there
thank
anything
you.
else?
I don't think so.
Well,
Thank you very
everybody.
much for coming in today, and I have to echo what the counselors have said. You guys have done an awesome job of fundraising and getting that community club going again. I remember when it was very, very popular and it kind of dwindled down because of a lot of the people left the area, but now.
But like a
there's-
lot of the older generation has left the area now, but Lebo is full of young families now.
Right.
You should see the children in Lebo,
Yeah.
it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So, which is great. So now it's like now or never to get this community up
Right.
and running.
Yeah.
And then also you were talking about mental health, if you ever needed, I know there was talk about potentially, getting Wi-Fi brought into our club. So if that was ever a space that you had needed, you could definitely, you know, if anyone needed some place to do that counseling, then the Yale Community Club could be the spot for that too. We would just need some Wi-Fi. Wink, wink. Okay.
Your festival has gotten to be well known too, so.
Yeah, I think so,
Yeah.
yeah, so I think this year, we still need to discuss the plans, but the planning for that starts now essentially. But I think that admission that we charge kind of drives a lot of people away from maybe attending. So we might do a free admission year 1 year and see how that goes, and then just draw more people in there, so. Yeah, but the admission is what makes us, you know, the guaranteed income, right? So, yeah.
You can always have a donation pot at the door if somebody could, you know, if
Yeah.
somebody's got a family,
Exactly.
they can't
yeah.
afford the big.
Well, that's just it. We want everyone to be able to afford to come
Yeah.
and to enjoy it, right? So, and it does cost, over like $10,000 just for us to put on Summerfest, right? So it's costly, but it's worth it for the community, so.
If Dave comes, he would put in the 10,000 himself.
Yeah, let it come. Come on, Dave.
That's fine.
Just 5.
Question, you'll probably know too, I haven't, the 2 sheets of ice there, like is that finished with?
Yeah, I think so, they voted on
Nothing
that.
can be done
We
with it?
did, we actually, in, 2 years ago, we had an AGM with the community, just stating that we were to discuss the curling rink. We allowed the community members to stew on it for an entire year. It seemed at that meeting that everyone really wanted to have that curling rink up and running. But when I blew off the dust to all the records in the basement, holy smokes, does it cost a lot of money to have that rink up and going.
Yeah.
So that
Fair
the
enough.
next, so then at the next AGM with the public, I just kind of gave them all the numbers realistically. And I said, like, you know, they had a year to kind of think about it. And if they were truly, it was that important, we feel like the community members would have stepped forth just a little bit more to help us with this, and they did not. So in that sense, we kind of then at the last AGM, the public, we, voted to essentially never have that rink up and running again.
It's too bad, like, you know, with the
It is
younger
too bad.
generation. that-
Yeah,
I know initially when they had built that rink, when they added it on, bought the machine and everything, there were individuals from the community, people who went to the bank and signed a note for it. Everybody signed a note for $2,000 or $3,000, and the loan was put at the bank, and then they paid it back, the community club paid it back, and that, so.
Okay.
Yeah, Lawrence Oler King was very instrumental in that community there at that time.
I think, you know, looking back at like 1989, I looked at the hydro bill, and back then it was like $1,000 to run the plant, and so now I think it'd be $2,500 to run that plant, so, the numbers to that, and there's just, we couldn't have even the biggest bonus field to support those numbers, right, so unfortunately, it got voted against, so.
It's too bad, but
It is too
I
bad,
kinda thought that would be the answer, like
you know.
it's just, the money would cost to
Yeah.
update it, it's,
Yeah.
it's just too bad, that's
Yeah,
all.
I think I
It
was
a
16 when like the last
Popular
game,
place in the,
when the last game was played, yeah.
Actually, at one time,
So it wasn't that long.
Well, I'm 35 now,
at one time, Greenwall Colony had approached, and well, not approached, but they had asked me if you guys would be interested in partnering with them to get that rink up and running. They would contribute to it. You
Yeah.
guys could use it and they would do it. They would have the funds to get it done because they wanted to have their community come in and do that. That might still be an option in the future if you ever thought about
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
It's
Well, we
something
still-
out there, but.
We still have those curling rocks, and I mean, I feel like we're sitting on a gold mine with those rocks, but it's to, once you sell them, we'll never be able to purchase them ever again, right?
Well, I don't
Very
think they're worth that
expensive.
much, cause I think Grand Marais sold their rocks and they never got much for them.
You don't think so?
No. I don't know.
I don't know, buying them brand new, I think they're like $1,000 to $1,500 a rock, and you need 30 rocks to play. depend, like two sides, right? So,
Something you can always keep, that you can have an outdoor rink, and if you ever had
That's
something
right.
go on
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
community center,
yeah,
just an
something.
idea.
Yeah, so the option, like, there's other entertainment and recreational aspects to it, so.
Did you guys ever think what you'd do with that building or?
I did get a quote for it, to turn it into a community hall.
Oh,
It's $250,000. I did apply for a large capital grant. I think the numbers were like $750,000, knowing that, like, they probably would never bat an eye at us, but I thought, well, why not try, right? So, but yeah, we would love to turn that entire space into just like extended community space, right? Maybe put like a gym in there, feasible, and just a bigger area for things to go on into in that Quonset. So yeah, but
Maybe you should contact Greenwald,
Greenwald
the colony.
Yeah.
See if
Yeah.
they want to partner, you never know.
partner,
What does it
yeah,
hurt?
see what they want to do. It's never. Then I can contact Netley too and get them to put our kitchen in. I do so
Well, I
options
think
are always there. You just gotta
Greenwald has a
communicate, right?
vested interest in Lebo though, cause they have property there already.
For sure, and they're neighbors to us, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, exactly, so, but,
Okay,
thank you so much.
thank you for
your
coming
time.
in and all the
Yes.
information you've
Yeah,
provided,
absolutely.
and have a good rest of the day.
I sure
A
will.
little warmer out there today, but still not great.
Thank you, bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, how are you?
Good thing. Okay, so we are at new and other business, number 6 on our agenda, and the first item is the emergency plan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As per the Emergency Measures Act for Manitoba, we're required to regularly update this plan and review it on a regular basis. Our Protective Services Officer has reviewed it and made the necessary updated changes that were available, that he felt was necessary. We've already discussed this at a committee of the whole with council, and what we're recommending is approval by council to move forward with the plan. And so I have a resolution, Madam Mayor, if you'd like me to read it.
You can go ahead and read it.
Okay, so whereas the Province of Manitoba Emergency Measures Act states review of our emergency plan must be conducted on a regular basis, and whereas there have been some amendments made, therefore be it resolved, council adopt the amendments of the St. Clements Emergency Plan as submitted by Tyler Freeman Protective Services.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Bazarowicz, second, please. Counselor Sutherland. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor, opposed, carried. And the next item is the campaign expenses and contributions bylaw.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This was brought up it's being brought forward to council for direction to move forward on. And so what was brought forward at the committee of the whole was a general discussion about that we are required to provide a summary overall for what are the expense limits related with election campaigning. And the expense limits have been at $6,000 and $5,000 in the previous bylaw. I think council wanted to take a look at changing that. So what we're doing is bringing forward the decision paper describing the issue with the bylaw put forward, and then seek specific direction of this council meeting to bring forward or to bring back a new bylaw that would be with the changes that council wishes to amend.
Okay, so having said that, comments from council members. I think it does, our bylaw presently says that it's 5,000 per councillor and 6,000 for the head of council. So is that acceptable at this point in time, or would you like to see some additional monies added to both of those? Gonna open it up.
What's inflation been every year? 2%, so what would that give you? Well, not much, another $500 or $600.
I was gonna say, even if we put it up 10% increase. but yes, you're right with inflation.
Any other comments? 10%?
Since 2022, inflation has been, I can get the exact numbers if you wanted to go up by inflation or by.
Per
or
year,
exact
that would be, so. Well, there was,
Yeah, in the discussions with council was just an exact number of moving up to 7,000 and 6,000 by $1,000 as as an amount, which keeps it reasonable, allows everybody, but also takes into consideration
Yeah.
inflation.
I think that's a better way to go. Some
Counselor
percentage.
Spicer?
There's really nothing else that we need to review in the bylaw, I don't think.
I don't
Just,
believe that.
just the expense totals.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we just have to adjust the schedule with proper.
The dates,
Yeah.
Okay, so is everybody good then with putting it up, each of them up by $1,000? So then your mayor or head of council would be 7,000 and councilors would be 6,000.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you. So we'll take that direction. So I'll put forward a resolution of this.
perfect.
Resolved that the administration prepare an amending bylaw to bylaw number 1 of 2022 campaign expenses and contributions to update the campaign expenses limit and schedule so that the election finance statement form and filling information reflect the 2026 general election and to bring amending bylaw forward for council's consideration. Furthermore, be it resolved, the increase for head of council be placed at $7,000 and the increase for councilor be placed at $6,000.
Okay, thank you for that. Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Horbis, Counselor Bazarowitz, seconds. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, the next one is the use of municipal resources in an election bylaw.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We brought the bylaw forward and we'll look at also sharing it publicly once we brought it forward for council's review. This is for information only for council today. And the intent of this is to talk about the general provisions of the 42-day restricted period that council has adopted by bylaw. Bylaw 4 was adopted to meet the municipal act requirements that the municipality have rules and procedures governing the use of those municipal resources during that period of time. And so what we have is this year, that 42-day period would start on September 16th of 2026, ending of course on October 28th, 2026. We're not anticipating any new changes, but it's worthwhile to also share this information publicly so that everyone knows, but also to remind council that the intent here is that in order to create a fair and neutral election environment is to prevent any municipal resources or staff time or communication channels to utilize during that election period, which means no public announcements, no communications on our web pages and those kinds of things to make sure it's a fair and equitable, as we followed in the previous elections. So this has been brought forward just as information.
I guess my comment is I was at another meeting the other day and someone had brought up from another council that there is no time limit anymore, that's
Correct.
not there anymore.
Yeah, there isn't necessarily a time limit, but
Okay,
many municipalities do utilize it.
okay,
And we can, and if you choose not to, then we brought it for information. So what we've said is, if council does wish to make any changes to this, then what we would need is direction to be sent, so council can receive this information and confirm whether we want us to maintain the current one unchanged, or we can request for the administration to bring forward any amendments, and we need to have that at least completed by May 1st, just to meet the timeline so that it can be passed and put forward.
okay. Did you have a question?
yeah.
Okay,
So does that mean like if something happens, like say somebody phones you and says, oh, I got this problem at my place, and it's in a 42-day thing, then you tell them, well, we can't do it, or we can't do nothing?
No, council is still allowed to do their job as council members and represent their constituents and talk to the administration. But, let's say that there was, the province had planned a ribbon cutting. Council would have to stay away from that type of communication. Let's say that we received a grant for something, then we'd have to debate whether we'd wanna publicize that. So, you know, that, so that it doesn't look like it's, unfairly communicating to the residents where, and then the other is obviously coming here to make a photocopy of some campaign material, which you're not allowed to.
So what you're saying is if we did get something, say, from the government or whatever, you could put the RM of St. Clements has gotten this grant from the government. What you couldn't say is the council and mayor from the RM of St. Clements has got.
Or any quotes from council or mayor.
Yeah, okay.
No photo ops.
No photo ops, those kinds of things.
Like if we got a grant for something, it would just, we would be told and that would be about it.
So what happens if we went to, say, the firemen have their thing, and that, it's not in September, but if we went to that thing, we couldn't take pictures there with the firemen and put it on our website? That wouldn't be right either, right, or what?
Correct, because you'd be doing it in your official role as a council.
Kind of a stupid.
But we could still accept a grant, it's just you can't publicize it.
Correct.
Great.
Well, you could publicize it.
We can
but you
publicize
can't-
it, just not
But it's
publicize
very
it.
generic.
It's
Yeah.
generic.
It's not that this
Yeah.
council has.
As I recall, I think I think it was before the last election was, there was a fairly significant grant we received and we waited till after the election to make
I
any
believe so.
announcements.
We did do that.
But I don't think we ever say when we get stuff, we don't say council and the mayor or anything, we just say the RM of St. Clements, usually, I don't know, do we, or?
Usually, sometimes we put out a quote, you know, if there was, and it just depends, sometimes it's the province of Manitoba are looking for a quote.
Yeah.
You know, as they're making the announcement, at that point, it would be a quote from the administration as opposed to the political.
But if you said RM of St. Clements received a grant, still includes us, council and mayor.
Yeah, it does.
Like you say, RM of St. Clements, well, what do we represent? So how does that make it,
It's generic enough that it's not a specific council
just because
member.
there's nothing, no names put out or? Okay,
It's generic enough and it's an
Okay.
announcement made by the administration, which happens all the
Yeah.
time.
okay. But
It's an awareness thing where, in that case, let's use that case. So you put out something that says the RM of St. Clements. Well, you wouldn't have our picture underneath it, for example, as council. In that time period.
Correct.
You had your hand up, Counselor Spicer.
I just, yeah, thanks.
Okay, you're done.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else have anything? So I think we are good as it is. Correct?
Correct. Unless council wishes to bring it back and you have time, we've identified for May first.
May 1st.
So at least today, we've been able to table it
Right.
and bring it forward. You bring up an important point, Madam Mayor, and I will follow up a little bit more to see what type of restrictions are being put on, especially the municipalities around us.
Thank you. Okay, so moving on, the next item on our agenda is number 6.4, which is the water and wastewater conference. And Deepak, if you wanted to speak to that one, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is a conference in Calgary, and it's for the certification requirements for our
Public Works?
Public Works, at least, our manager of water and waste services. And so it's required as part of her SWANA certification, that is a SWANA conference associated with it. And it's part of that training or education that's required on a regular basis. But since it is out of the province, it requires council's approval for any anybody from the administration going to a conference outside of the province, and so we brought that forward here for the manager of water and waste to attend that conference in 2026.
Okay, any questions? Go ahead, Counselor Spicer.
So this conference moves around the country, we don't specifically have one in Manitoba?
Not that I know
Okay, thank you.
Other times I think it
I-
is out
of. I think
west.
sometimes it's, yeah,
Alberta.
Yeah,
I think it tends to be, I think the last couple of years, as I recall, it's been in the west.
There was one in Brandon years ago.
Yes.
They're not, yeah.
okay, any other questions, or shall we bring the resolution forward for Arleta to attend?
Okay, I'll bring the resolution forward.
Please.
So, just hang on a second. Whereas the manager of water and waste is required to achieve credit hours towards maintaining provincial certification required of the position, and that the annual budgets are set to accommodate training and conferences, be it resolved that council accept the recommendations of the manager of water and waste to attend the coming SWANA NLC conference in Calgary, expenses to include as required transportation, lodging, meals, and registration.
Okay, can I have a mover? Counselor Spicer moves, Counselor Bazarowitz seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. That takes us to 6.5, which is our 2026 tax sale.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As per the municipal act, we are required to identify the time and date and the setting of the tax sale process. And what we have is a resolution that forward as quickly as possible for the 2026 tax year. And this would be for the properties that are outstanding for the year of 2024. So, whereas
Can I fix it quickly? I didn't get a chance to do that.
you haven't had a chance to do
Is
that,
that okay if I do it real quick?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
We just need to fix the resolution a
Okay.
little bit. And while we're waiting for that, I'll bring forward the next item on the
Sure.
agenda, Madam Mayor, and then we'll come back to that, if that's okay. The next item is that it's time for us to renew our service with the tax service office, so that they are the people who are who take into our process the tax sale properties. So when a property goes into tax sale, they end up managing it, so we have an engagement letter that we received from them. And that engagement is for the next 3 years. And what we're recommending is approval and for the CAO to sign. And so on that tax service, what we have is, whereas the municipal act requires the municipality conduct tax recovery proceedings every year, and whereas council for the municipality deems it in the municipality's best interest to hire Tax Service Inc. to manage tax arrears recovery on its behalf. And be it resolved that the Arm St. Clements hire Tax Service Inc. to manage tax arrears recovery on the municipality's behalf for a term of 3 years. And be it further resolved that the CEO will be authorized to sign the Tax Service Inc. engagement letter on behalf of the municipality.
Thank you for that. Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Horbis, second. Counselor Strang. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. And the tax sale one, Heather, did you get it corrected?
I sure hope so.
Okay.
Okay, whereas section 365(2) of the municipal act provides that council may in any year designate the immediate preceding year or early year as a year of which properties, the taxes in respect of which are in arrears for that year, must be offered for sale by auction to recover the tax arrears and costs. And whereas the designated year for which properties in arrears be offered for sale by auction be 2025, meaning all properties with outstanding taxes from the year 2024 or prior. And whereas in accordance with section 363(1) of the Municipal Act, costs shall be the actual costs incurred by the municipality for each parcel listed in the tax sale, plus the administration fee of $50 per roll as set forth in the Manitoba Regulation 50-97. And whereas the date of the 2026 tax sale has been set to November 12th, 2026, with the public auction to commence at 2 p.m. And whereas, I think that should be therefore, the first one should be and therefore, the date of the 2026 tax sale has been set to November 12th, 2026, with the public auction commencing at 2 p.m. And therefore be it further resolved, therefore be resolved, and therefore further be resolved that pursuant to section 372 of the Municipal Act, a municipality may set forth a reserve bid in the amount, the tax arrears and costs in respect to the property, and therefore be it further resolved that the rural municipality of St. Clements place a reserve bid on all properties in that amount of all arrears and costs in respect to each property.
Okay, thank you for that. Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Horvis, Counselor Bazarowicz seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, so that takes us to 6.7 on our agenda, which is the loader one-way purchase.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We had identified this in the 2025 budget to purchase a blade, a one-way quick attach loader blade that we've been able to find for $22,000. But the intent is to be able to put the blade on the loader, and as opposed to taking a grader that takes time to go all the way out to the Lebo landfill, what we can do is take our loader, attach the blade and clean the road access to the landfill on a regular basis as necessary. And so we've been able to find the budget and found a blade which was identified at that time for $22,000 to be able to put on the loader as opposed to put it into, use a grader to do that work.
Okay, questions, comments? Anyone? Not hearing anything, so I will ask for the resolution to be brought forward, please.
Be it resolved that council accept the recommendation of the Director of Public Works, authorizing the CA to purchase the Craig one-way loader blade from Toromont Cat as quoted for the price of $22,701.65 plus applicable taxes.
Okay, can I have a mover, please? Counselor Sutherland, second, please. Counselor Spicer, any further discussion? Go ahead, Counselor Strang.
Madam Mayor, I don't know too much on this, but I sort of, if anybody can comment on it, like, is this something that's useful or easily attached, comes on, put on?
I don't know why you go down the road with a loader if you have graders, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I could see that blade working in up at the beach or in small little areas and that kind of stuff, it would make sense, but to clean 2 miles of road with a grader, loader, doesn't even, I don't know.
Is there a grader up there all the time though, or they'd have to take one
I
over
mean, a
there?
loader? I
The
don't know.
loader is
The
always,
loader's always there, but then he's saying about it would be making more sense with the grader, but then you'd have to be taking a grader
the grader
there.
for
Well, maybe- Maybe he means that this is, the blade on the front there is to clean the dump yard inside, can't see it
I'm sure
going.
they'd use it for
Yeah.
that too.
Well, I can't see it going down the road to 59, that don't even make, because it's not made for that, like it's.
Well, I guess if there's a storm, or find if there's a storm, nobody's out anyway, but, yeah, I'm guessing that it would be used
In the
in
yard,
the yard, and
maybe he
then
just worded it different, that's so.
we'll probably still use it to run up and down to the, 88 to 58, I don't know.
That's what he's saying, is that they could run it from there to 59 on some occasions where they don't necessarily have to take the grader out there. And sometimes it's not enough snow and you just, that's a much more widely used road. I think that's the intent. Yes, a grader is very efficient compared to a loader.
Well, the loader, the grader, whatever, it works a different way. This just floats on the front, you wouldn't be getting this on the road, you know,
The blade on it?
pardon me?
The
With the blade on it, yeah, cause the blade's mounted right in front of the
But
machine.
you could put pressure with the loader.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, then you're cutting, you're throwing gravel and.
Well,
It's just, I think he means just to clean inside the landfill site, that makes more sense. Yeah, because it's hard to clean with a bucket, because you're just filling the bucket up and you're not moving it to the side.
Yeah.
With the blade, you're pushing it to the side, so.
And it's a quick install, quick
Yeah.
install.
It's good.
Go ahead, Counselor Spicer,
No,
you're good? Anything else? I think we have a mover and a seconder.
Yeah, we're just waiting.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I will call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Okay, 6.8, I think we're at. Mar? The
6.8.
Manitoba Association of Regional Recyclers.
This is, he asked if I received the two items that I have, so I put them on you guys now. As an addition, if they're okay with it. We can't do anything until council decides to look at it.
So we'd have to first, these were just added by Heather right now.
Oh, okay.
And so they weren't added at the beginning of the
Beginning,
agenda, so
okay.
council would have to make an amendment in order to add these two items if they want to look at for the water and waste recycling training, the WIMAS training, and there's the event that's happening with waste management.
some rules this year. I had a Zoom meeting yesterday and that came up. And I asked, they forwarded, they said it was forwarded to all municipalities. There's these training courses in different places, but the closest to us would be in Bose this year.
So it's up to council, we could look at making a vote to do an amendment to the amendments. Or, and it looks like this is happening in March, so we could bring it at the next
Well,
council meeting.
6.8 is not directed for council, so you should be able to approve Kevin just to send orders. 6.9 is more geared towards maybe council, that one I can bring back. Then we don't have to look at these.
Yep, they
Yeah,
can both
because-
come back as a matter of fact in February,
Yeah,
Okay,
because neither one of them happens till February 24th or later. Okay, so we won't have those 6.8.
I just wanted to bring it up, cause it's good for the landfill operators, or somebody should be going to that course.
Nope, appreciate that, councilor. So
okay.
Heather, if you could take them off, and then we'll take them off the agenda.
And
Okay.
so then we're going to move into our finances. So 7.1 is the closed list of accounts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So for the closed list of accounts, resolve council approve the January 27th, 2026 list of accounts, check numbers 26000032 to 26000116 in the amount of $663,890.58 for payment.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Spicer, second, please. Counselor Sutherland, any further discussion? Questions on the list of accounts? Hearing and seeing none, call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. Go ahead, Counselor Sutherland.
From our discussion about the course, it's actually, February 24th in Bose this year.
Yes, that's what I said, so
Oh, that's just said March.
the other one is in March, the witness is in March, and February 24th, so they could both
Sorry.
come back in February.
February
My
10th.
mistake, I thought it said, okay.
Yeah, I think our next meeting is the 10th of February, so they can both come back for the 10th.
Thank you. Shut up.
Please don't.
Okay, the next item we have is the financial statement for November of 2025.
Thank you. Resolved that the November 30th, 2025 financial statements be adopted as presented.
Can I have a mover, please? Counselor Bazarowitz, second, please. Counselor Strang. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, opposed, and that is carried. That's that one. Grants, 7.3.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So 7.3, what we have is 3.1 is the Manitoba Crime Stoppers Grant. And what you will see is something that's available just for council, just a spreadsheet of the grants and what's been utilized in each of the grants. And what I want to do is get into a more regular process of providing council with an updated spreadsheet showing what's left as we move forward in our budget process. This one is the Manitoba Crime Stoppers is a general one. So that's the spreadsheets for your information. And for the Crime Stoppers, what we have is the report where they've requested for 30 cents per capita, which would translate to about $3,476.10 is what they're requesting. This has been a consistent request from Crime Stoppers on a regular basis. As they mentioned, not all municipalities do support it, but the municipality of St. Clements has, and what we're recommending is to stick with the same 10 cents that we have in the past, and we're going with $1,390.44. An exact over the amount that was close to the 10 cents.
You have a question, Counselor Sutherland? Okay, Counselor Sutherland and then Counselor Spicer.
We used to have volunteers in different parts of the municipality. Do we have any in the Ward 1 or 2? Is there anybody know? Do we have this still volunteers, or there's nothing going on?
Nothing that I'm aware of that's going on
Okay,
within the
that's-
municipality.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Counselor Spicer.
Sorry, I was gonna move. and then
Oh,
ahead of
okay.
time. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay, not a problem, but if, go ahead, Counselor Strang.
I was gonna say thank you for, the paper on the grants, trails, Red River North Trails, it has membership twice there.
There's a couple of them. This,
Yeah,
this,
like,
it's,
I
yeah.
just thought, are they paying twice for their membership, or is that actually money going towards the trails? That maybe it's
When you're
wrong.
going towards the trails, and we'll verify it all.
Okay.
The intent was to get the first attempt to get that spreadsheet out on a
No,
regular
that's great
basis.
to see, cause it's good information
Brings
for
up-
us too,
Brings
yeah.
up questions from council, because sometimes council knows more, and sometimes it's just quoted wrong. There may be multiple requests coming from trails for different things, and they're quoted that way. This way we can explore it more, and the intent is, every year we put in a budget for a certain amount for each one of those grant policies, and then we get a lot of requests, and sometimes very large requests like the one we have earlier today. And council needs to know, do we have the funds available to do that in the existing budget?
Yeah, just it's under membership twice, so I thought, are they paying membership twice? So that's
Yeah,
what sort of
good,
threw it
good
off.
question. We'll look into it.
Okay, I have a question on it too. Do we need to go all the way back to 2019?
Just more information.
It's just
It is
information.
more information, but if you get it any smaller, I'm not gonna be able to read the darn thing, so.
Keep pressing the plus on your screen.
Yeah, well, that doesn't even work, but anyways. And I don't know, there was a couple others here that just kinda didn't make sense to me. There was one I thought that was missed. And then, oh yeah, it's got the capital planning region, and then in the same block, it has the Winnipeg Metro region, one and the same. So,
But that could be because it's going back to 2019 with the changes. When it went from
Change
CPR
of
to
date.
WR.
okay,
Okay,
that
so
makes more sense. Anyways, yeah, I just found it very hard to read even when I use my plus sign.
I'll make it go back only 3 years.
Well,
We start off with as much information as we can give council, and the council tells us how much they want to see.
Well, even if it went back to 22 when we were elected,
Sure, sure.
that would, to me, would make sense, so.
And I believe that we may have a resolution on the floor here.
Not yet.
No, not yet, okay.
So I'll bring up the resolution for
Please.
that.
Oh, yeah,
And
pass
so
it
that's for the resolution is not, associated with the spreadsheet, but the resolution is for Crime Stoppers.
Right,
So resolve council approve the following 2026 requested grant, Manitoba Crime Stoppers 2026, $1,390.44.
can I have a mover, please, Counselor Spicer, second, Counselor Strang, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, call the question, all those in favor, opposed, that is carried. Okay, then we have our border revision date for this year.
Yes, Madam Mayor. So this is for the date to set for the board of revision, which is November 18th, 2026. It'll be held at 10 a.m. here. It also identifies our members of the board as part of the resolution. And we're going with the same members of the board, unless council would like to make a change of that. And the members of the board that we're recommending are the ones that attended this year. I know that somebody had been contact, I think, Madam Mayor, about that they could have possibly been made themselves available, which was one of the trustees, I think.
that was school division.
Okay, could have been, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but we've recommended the same names. It's up to council if we want to continue with those names or go with, or continue to look. But we're putting it forward and then we can ask those if they can attend and if they can't, then we'll move forward.
Right, yeah.
So resolve council agree to the date of November 18th, 2026 at 10 a.m. for the board of revision for 2027 assessment rolls. And if information is received in time, the added taxes under section 3261 of the municipal act. Further be it resolved that Horst Welk, Gary Marshall, and Dallas Attridge to sit on the board of revision members for the board of revision being held on November 18th, 2026. Further be it resolved, Bruce A. McDonald be appointed as chair and Rose Ashen be appointed secretary to the board with Shannon Plish as assistant secretary to the board. And further be it resolved that the non-municipal board members be paid an honorarium of $150 for each session.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yes. Heather's asked that we hold this over because there's some errors in the
Well, I
resolution.
don't know where I don't think we've ever signed Rose as secretary, have we?
Yeah, I think Shannon was secretary and Rosa was the assistant secretary. Okay, we'll review and bring it back at the next meeting.
Sure.
Can run downstairs and ask her.
No, I'll bring it back, please.
Yeah, we'll bring it back.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Counselor Spicer.
And just for clarification, the 2027 is the reassessment year,
It is.
so there might be more appeals than normal.
Right.
Correct. Okay, we'll bring it back, Madam Mayor, if that's.
Okay, yeah, that works. Okay, so then we are into communications for information. I don't believe we had any bylaws, did we? No, communications for information. So is there anything there that anybody wants to bring up? Go ahead, Counselor Spicer.
Just for interest, I noticed that there are a fair number of vacancies in our CMP report. It does say that they're working on it, but
Anybody else? I'm gonna go to this Red River North Tourism and their sovereignty
can't say that word, Sovereignty Gardens, they're asking again for everybody to plant red and white for Canada this year, as they did last year. I thought it was kind of cool, cause there was lots of red and white flower pots around, and I think they look very nice personally, so. And I don't see anything else that I wanted to comment on. Anybody else have anything they wanted to comment on the info correspondence? If not, we will go into committee reports.
I'm gonna talk to him.
Sure you will. He's smiling over there.
Look, he's always smiling. I can show him my message. Not us.
Did you add it? Oh, do you want it? I don't know where it got
I don't know where it
placed.
got placed out.
Did you add that?
I need to see what it is.
That's
The
the
generic letter of support.
Certainly, we can move
Oh,
on to that.
where it's a subdivision or?
Well, we'll put it under business then.
We've got council reports to do.
Yeah, we are gonna do council reports, but I was just waiting for Heather to straighten
But
up
this is
that
an
one.
item before council reports.
If you tell me what day that Ukrainian thing was, I could start.
Okay, here.
I could do that. That's all I got.
I
No,
thought
I think Heather just picked something, so do you have?
At the beginning of the meeting, Councillor
Strand.
Strang, thank you, Madam Mayor. I had a little trouble today, I apologize, Councillor Strang.
The older you get, the harder it gets. I'm telling you.
It's not what I've been told.
The harder it gets, I don't think so. What are you talking about? Sorry.
Okay, let's bring it back here and let Deepak talk to us about that one addition that was brought up at.
So, this is an item regarding subdivisions and letters of support by the public service and the administration, and Councillor Strang wanted to talk about that. So, Councillor Strang, you could lead and then I can answer any questions you have.
Thank you. No, I don't know if anybody received any phone calls, but, there was a subdivision off of Highway 44 that was going to the planning board. And I did get some calls from a resident, and I asked for some of the information to be sent to me. But it ended up, I got a letter from Deepak of what went out in the package. And just, it's a letter of support, and on it, it says, "Dear Reven Council." And just some of the, I guess it's some of the wording that's on here. It says, "We're in full support." And in addition, council strongly supports the developer's request to connect the project, blah, blah, blah. And it sounds like we're almost partnering with the developer, or that we have had it come in front of us. And I told the resident that we have never had it come in front. It was going in front of the route, going to the planning board. But I said, I think it's just the wording in the letter. So I just wanted to bring it to the attention that maybe it can get reviewed, or someone can reread it, or if it's a generic one, I think a new one needs to go out.
Yes.
Because it doesn't come in
Let me
front of us, and then it gets the residents all up in arms, turmoil, and I guess they're thinking that they come here, we've already made a decision, which it's never come in front of us yet, so,
No, correct.
okay?
So, this is not a subdivision, which is something the council would be reviewing. And so what this is a development plan amendment. And as a development plan amendment, those are approved only at the board level. And they only go to the Red River Planning District Board. So usually with any of those types of projects, they do come and meet with the administration in advance, and they say, this is what we're looking at. They're looking at it as a development plan amendment. So this is changing the designation to accommodate future development. So most people get confused because of communication, and that's been, there's been some pushback from our own residents about when you ask to do a development plan amendment, what are you actually going to put there? So they kind of describe what they're actually going to put there, and people think that that's what's getting approved. No, what's really actually getting approved is just the redesignation of those lands from a designation which was agricultural in nature to accommodate, but to a new designation under the development plan to accommodate more residential type development, which is consistent in that nature. That's the and that's what the board reviews. As part of that review, they also ask, usually, is the municipality in favor of doing those types of development plan amendments? That's where this letter goes out saying, yes, the municipality is in favor of doing those developments. And in this case, because the developer had indicated that they would be bringing services into those lands from where our services are and at the developer's cost, then we said, yes, then those lands could be permissible. Now, usually they are allowed to have, all developers are allowed to have, and applicants and property owners are allowed to have a conversation with the municipality, with councilors before the application is made officially. The application for subdivision has not been made. So yes, the wording, I agree with you, might be better written. And what we will do, and I think you're right, in order to provide some clarity as to make sure the wording is a little bit more generic in the sense that it's an administratively supported, that council is aware of the development plan amendment. And that they would support all development plan amendments of this nature if the circumstances were the same. That does not mean that there still will not be a proper public hearing or a public process associated with the subdivision and rezoning and all those additional steps that still have to be made. So whatever happens here is all it does is just designate the lands to be able to have those public hearings at the council level. That's it. So what we have is a lot of lands that are designated as not to be allowed for any agricultural purposes. So the developer has to prove to the Red River Planning Board as well as to the minister. So that's what goes forward to the minister. As this is no different than when we made a request to do a redesignation of lands that were that required ministerial approval. So the RM usually responds back saying, yes, council's in support, because that's one of the things they do look at.
I think with it going out to the resident, it's just the clarification is needed. And then again, like I said, just some of the wording just needed to be tweaked in there, but otherwise.
Agreed, and just to give you an example, I guess, so there was a development plan amendment related to shared services between us and East St. Paul. And we said that the RM, I wrote a letter saying the RM is, but I shared that letter with council. I think we'll do the same thing with these as well, to make sure the council is aware of this.
Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
I'm glad this has been brought up and I can see the reason why it's been brought up. Having sat through some of those public hearings, I think the challenge here we have is educating ourselves and the public on how the steps of planning in Manitoba. There are many steps, as the CAO has said, a development plan amendment. It will likely need a zoning amendment after that, which will be another public hearing. It will likely need assuming it's going ahead to subdivision, it will be another public hearing. There might be variances required, which would require another public hearing. And I think the public has a thought in mind that this first step, if it happens, then it's good to go. And I think that's something that, it's not the easiest thing to educate even ourselves as well as the public to go all of the steps that are required. So, you bringing it up is a good thing because it does allow us to get this information out on all the steps that are required, because when we we're in that public hearing for the one that you had brought up about service sharing. A lot of people were bringing up their concerns that would have probably been involved with either a zoning hearing or a subdivision hearing. So it's, it's still good to get that information from the public of what their concerns are. But at the same time, I think it's a comprehensive process, that there's a lot of steps in, and, hopefully we all can figure out the steps and how it works.
Yeah, and I guess going back to the, item that Councillor Spicer is speaking of, I mean, it's educating. There has to be a better way to let the residents know what the development plan amendment is about and what the subdivision is about and all those sorts of things, because at the last one we had at planning, everyone thought that once this was approved, that the building was gonna start. But this was the very first step for a development plan amendment, and there are many steps after that that the developer has to adhere to. And anywhere along the way, it could get quashed. But I guess it's educating the residents, and I don't know how it can be done better, that it's on the websites or on RRPD's website, on the municipal websites, that these are the steps for this particular application. I don't know.
Thing is, people don't, look into it until it affects them further.
Well, and that's true, and I know that, and maybe we may get the same thing, cause I know a lot of the people there, like, there was quite a lengthy report, and a lot of people were annoyed, cause they didn't get the information till Friday for a public hearing on Wednesday, and many felt that that wasn't enough time to research and review all the information that had been provided, so. And that could very well be in any municipality within RRPD. That's all I have. So, comments, Deepak? No?
No, I think it's all well said by council.
Okay.
I think at the end of the day, what the situation here is that there's, communication is key, and we need to continue to work. It's also the responsibility of developers, and I think the developer has recognized that and withheld the development plan amendment to have further consultation with the community. It's also challenges in the process. A developer comes, every landowner is allowed to apply for anything they'd like to do on their land. That's a right, that's an inherent right that every landowner, and I hope it never disappears, that you as a property owner should have the right to do what you would like to do in your property. Some of those rights require you to go through public hearing processes or do the necessary the documentation to prove that that's a proper and appropriate use in that community and so forth. That's what this is going through that process. When they do go through that process, sometimes the level of communication that's needed is critical. And the challenge is sometimes they try to do the level of communication and nothing happens until it becomes part of a public agenda. And then unfortunately, the way the rules are written, there's very little time because the applicant goes through, maybe even holds we've had situations where developers have come in, held a public open house, nobody showed up at the public open house, then they show up at the front for the approval, and then we get 50 or 100 people saying, I didn't know anything about it. And so what we end up doing is sending them back to do some further consultation. In this case, that's exactly what the applicant realized was you only had found out 2 weeks earlier that there was a reaction or misunderstanding on what they were trying to do. And so they decided to hold back and then be able to have further dialogue with the community if necessary.
is there somewhere to go for all that information, the procedure or whatever, is there a
Yes.
website or something?
The Red River Planning website has all that information available.
So on our website, does it say for, if you wanna know about how this all works or whatever, go to this website?
Is there a link?
Yeah, we could,
It's-
not
yeah.
even a link, but put that information
We
on our
can certainly look
website.
at communicating that, it's just a matter of, will people go, where would they go on our website? Because if you're looking to get information on a planning application, you would go to Red River.
No, I know, but maybe I wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? I'd
So
go
we
to the
can-
RM and say, that I'm in this RM, what do I do here, what's my?
Yeah.
And then, like you say, we have Sue who helps people do that, we say that on our website, right?
The concierge service?
Yeah,
We don't specifically speak to the concierge service on our
Okay.
website. But when we get applications, people usually come and see us, then we
Yeah.
work with them. At the same point, we also, if somebody's
what-
calling the office, we let them know where to go. But you make a good point, we'll take a look at doing this and maybe even looking at, as we've talked about in our newsletters.
Yeah.
Create some of these, did you know?
yeah, or
Kind of
do you wanna know more about the
Yes,
procedure or whatever?
Exactly.
Go to this website, gives you step-by-step thing or whatever, you know?
Yeah, so there are multiple sites, whether it's dealing with planning matters related to the province of Manitoba or Red River or with ours. And we'll see if we can get that communication. Good points.
Okay, if there's nothing else on this one, we're gonna move into our committee reports or our council reports. And I'm gonna start with Councillor Spicer today.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. January the 15th, we had a Gaynor Regional Library regular meeting. I guess the big information you want to hear about is, the tender is out. So, I think there's actually been a request for extension too. We're going forward trying to get, they had a site meeting, I believe they had 40 contractors, which is awesome. Doesn't mean they're all gonna bid, but it's good. I don't think there's anything else that, is required there. January the 20th, we had committee of the whole meeting, which included, meeting with the Minister of MTI. There's a number of issues, or topics that we discussed with the minister, and hopefully, they'll get moved forward. As well as we had a update meeting on the, I call it the Blue Bridge update, but I don't know if that's technically the term. And we also, had some policy discussions, during that day. January 21st, we had Red River Planning, and that was a regular meeting, and, we kind of talked about, what dominated the meeting, I guess, was that, development plan amendment, public hearing. January 22nd, Northeast Red Watershed District regular meeting. As you may or may not know, the manager is on maternity leave, so we have a manager who we have hired on a term. And it seems like, she's, jumped in with both feet, we're doing very well keeping up with, what's going on. Part of what's being discussed there is, connecting with both, Broken Head and Peguas to get involved with, planning district. And, there was some questions about, you know, the benefits that we're getting, from the watershed district. So there will be a report coming. I have sent last year's report to our CAO, but, there'll be a new report coming in the near future for this year's. January 26th, I attended a Living Labs steering committee meeting. This is something through the Manitoba Association of Watersheds. So essentially what this is a program that's being run through Agriculture Canada. They're the funder and the partner. And what they've done is they've partnered with producers as well as the universities to take a look at beneficial management practices. So this program is going to go on for the next couple of years. If you paid attention to the federal budget talks, this is one of the spots where there's been some budget cuts. But we do still have 2 years of funding to continue on. So it's very interesting work, because what they're trying to do is take a look at different ways of doing farming that will actually assist in better soils and better runoff waters. January 27th, we had our municipal visit with the AMM this morning. I think it was a good meeting. We got to pass on some concerns that we've been having. And it sounds like they've heard a lot of our concerns before in their tours. So, there's definitely some themes there that, and hopes that they can, bring up these concerns to the provincial government and hopefully we can find some solutions. If there's any questions, I'll try and answer them. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Any questions for Councillor Spicer? Doesn't appear to be, so I'm gonna move on to Councillor Bazarowicz, please.
January 13th, 14th, and 15th, I was at the, River Basin. In Winnipeg, there was so much information, it's so hard to get it all. And the States does an awful lot different than we do. There are licensed drainage, laws just for ditches, that they date back to 1956. I don't know what we have here. They collected $1,114,000 funding. They have what they call a source levy. They have county collectors that have the ability to go out and put a levy on farmlands, anywhere from $0 to $4 per acre. And that's, they get up to a 60% cost share with that. They talked about septic systems. A lot of people still have what they call a straight line septic system, was just a line of pipe that's still just a direct dump, be in the field or a river or whatever. Their state applications, for anything over 80 acres is a 30-day period. They have technical service consulting for all culverts, and that's paid by the applicant, and that's whether it's for pumps, gravity, and tile drainage. Fargo and Grand Forks, they're monitoring, drought, snow, and rain. They're doing a lot of, stream and ditch restoration. They build these rapid dams. They dam it up and they create drops for keeping, water at a certain level. A lot of hydraulic engineering for ditches, for slope and failure and slump. Sand filters, riprap, $1.5 million, just budget money. Basically, it's just water supply, quality and conservation. Parking was a nightmare. January 20th, we had our cow meeting here, with Mr. Naylor, and, spoke on the Selkirk Bridge. And then this morning we had AMM here. And that's it.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions for Councillor Bezrose? Go ahead, Councillor Horbis.
So the 20th was the cow meeting here. And then on the 21st, I went to the, middle school for the Ukrainian party,
Yeah.
Christmas party. So they did their, it was all plays mostly, it wasn't any dancing or anything, it was just a tribute to the Ukrainian Christmas thing. And, that's it.
Okay. Anything for Councillor Horbis? Go ahead, Councillor Sutherland.
Thank you. As was discussed in January 20th with their committee of the whole meeting, we met with the Minister of Transportation and Infrastructure. Again, discussed the refurbishing of the Blue Bridge. Again, there's the three options, and we still don't know exactly what's going to happen. I know they did mention one thing, if the towers, if they do take the towers down, then it'll require closing of the bridge for some time. Other than that, if they don't, I guess they'll try to have a way to keep at least one lane open, but we'll have to wait and see, I guess. January 26th for the Mars Zoom meeting. Had some discussions about the AGM, the dates and all. It was brought up again about MMSM with their plan to take over the recycling, and there's supposed to be a webinar coming up. Still nothing clear, it's just been going on and no positive or clear answers as to what they're going to do. They say they're going to take over the blue boxes, but I don't know, they haven't made it clear to anybody about how they're gonna do that, you know? If it's gonna be the same haulers, probably won't be. We asked the questions and Mike has been in discussion with, just don't know. And I think we'll be talking about it next year again. Or something, January 27th, today we had the meeting with AMM, which was, I think, was a very productive meeting. And that's it.
Okay, any questions for Councillor Sutherland? Go ahead, Councillor Strang.
Okay, I'll try to be quick, but I missed the last meeting because I was helping set up for the Red River Basin conference. Anyways, December 11th, Red River North Tourism meeting, had an update with them. And just to let everybody know, we did have a winner for the Christmas lights in our municipality. It was on Road 101 North. So
I tried to find a picture of it and I couldn't find
it's
it.
actually in our, I was gonna, when you went to the, it's in our news, it's in the newsletter, but when you were asking about things, I thought, well, I'm gonna report on that, so.
Okay,
Did you
go
say
ahead.
Route 101?
101 North, yes.
Oh.
I have the number here too, if you want, I don't know.
Yeah.
Privacy activation.
101?
Yep.
Curious who that was.
Anyways, that was our winner for the Arm of St. Clements. December 16th, council meeting with Broken Head. And then I go into January 9th, meeting, met with WMR. January 12th, I'm on the Red River Basin Conference Committee. We did set up, since it was here in Winnipeg. January 13th to the 15th, I was at the conference. And our keynote speaker was Gordon Goldsboro. Excellent speaking. He spoke on everything of the history of the Red River and of the ships and the boats coming through. And one thing he brought up, I was sitting next to one of the counselors from East St. Paul, and I said that he brought up that there's still a piece of one of the boats at Highland Park.
Yeah.
So I said to them, I said they should make it like a tourist thing, and same thing at Selkirk. He was going through different areas where there still is pieces of the boats that go up and down the river. And then when they started dredging, one of the things he said back in 1930s, it was a very popular topic around the tables for different areas and lands of drainage. He says, so that was still going on way back then, and we still talk about it today, and it's a very important thing. He spoke about dredging for recreation that they used to do on the river and the lake. And one of the things he brought up was at Grand Beach Lagoon, how they used to dredge there all the time. So he says it was always dredged. St. Andrews, Lock and Dam, also around there at 1910. So he was bringing up lots of history, and then he brought up about all the boats and the river boats that used to go up and down, of how it was recreation and a tourism thing for the city and the area. We had a couple ministers there, Moise and Costician, and they spoke on different topics. Well, Moise gave the greetings for the premier. Costician spoke on, because he's the Minister of Agriculture. We had topics from flood mapping programs. One thing, I was a moderator for one day there, and one of the things that was at my session was on Gimli's Wetland Initiative and how they are changing a lot of their partnering with the watersheds. And they have steering committee and lots of volunteers already in Gimli, and they're using their wetlands, and they're going to make it more interpretive, just like Okamek Marsh and everything. So it was actually very interesting that they're starting on this project. Another topic was on flood resiliency in the Red River Valley, and they focused on St. Mary's Road, of how it always flooded out all the time, and what they've done with the changing of the roads there around the perimeter to make prevention and all the different culverts and everything that they put in. And that also involved the RMO Montcalm in there. They had soil health project, they gave an update, learning and outcomes from on farm water stewardship. That was another thing. They had the protesters there from all the dairy farms of North Dakota. We're there every day and trying to get into the conference. So that was Rebecca's job that day, to keep them out. Except the last day was open to the public, where everybody could come in, and they came in and did their spiel for everybody there. So she had to deal with that every day, and they came over and stayed in the hotel to make sure that their voices got heard. Another presentation was from the city of Winnipeg, the North End Water Treatment Plant, or the North End, treatment plant. And that is ongoing, I think, until 2037. We were all in shock on that. And they were getting quizzed a lot on, is there anything that they can do the fast track on, like, to make things better, but they are doing, but as we know with all of our stuff, everything's a process. So another one I was very interested is Manitoba Hydro, and how from them purchasing Central Gas, they did the history of Sutherland Avenue location and all the coal tar that's down in that they have to keep on checking in the river, and if it's contaminating anything. So there's lots of that down there, and that was from, Central Gas, so that's something that Winnipeg, Manitoba Hydro inherited.
Yeah, they used to dump it all straight in the river.
Yeah, well, they still do, to this day, they're still doing, they close off a certain area of the river and they have to do a bunch of tests that they're regulated to. And in the trade show and that, so I did meet, Scott already mentioned about the North Red manager that, for the watershed, that our watershed, that she's gone off on maternity, so I met Anna, the new person.
Sutherland's contaminating.
Sorry?
Sutherland contaminating.
Sutherland Avenue. January 20th, we had our committee whole, meeting with Mr. Naylor, which I thought was very good. I was actually very impressed. I wasn't impressed that it was only 15 minutes, but I was impressed that by the time that our meeting was over that day, that we already had a date for another meeting. Well, so I feel good that we're gonna come back, and she said she'll be coming back with results, so. To some of the questions, we also had the meeting on the Blue Bridge and on HR and policy discussion. And then and so tomorrow night, just to let you know, is another meeting, the public one, opened for the Blue Bridge. It's at the Memorial Hall at 6 p.m. And then today we had AMM a meeting with, which I thought went really well also, which was already reported on. Other than that's it.
Okay, any questions for Counselor Strang? Okay, I've got a few here too. January 13th, we had our regular council meeting. January the 16th, I had a WMR/CPR executive committee meeting. The 20th, we had our committee of the whole meeting with the minister, and everybody else reported on that. Councillor Spicer reported on the January 21st RRPD regular meeting. January 22nd, I had a WMR CPR board meeting. We're hoping that we're going to see some changes in the next couple of months with that legislation, and patiently waiting to see how it's going to move forward, so. And January 27th, which was today, we had our meeting with AMM, and I thought it was a very good meeting. I guess I was quite impressed with all their information that they shared with us and things like that, so that's all I have. Deepak.
Okay, Madam Mayor, I don't have my written CAO report. That'll be coming at the next council meeting, and the one for February will be at the end of the second council meeting in February. Main reason being we had a lot of other high priority projects that kind of took over, meetings with ministers and meetings with developers, as well as getting our audits completed that have kind of taken up a considerable amount of my time. We're also working on completing all our outstanding projects, and I can give you a sort of a brief update on the various projects that have been completed to date. Give me 1 second. And so in regards to the St. Clements Activity Center, we are working towards finding a completion date. We're right now just in discussions in the sense of getting an agreement with the province of Manitoba and the federal government as to when we can have a proper ribbon cutting, but the project itself is complete. There's some minor outstanding issues that will obviously be, that are related as weather or season specific. Some of the things can be done in the spring, but majority of the work has been completed. We've had several viewings with some of our staff to show them around, and then there's some additional information I can share today as well, that there is some of the artwork is also complete that's going to be placed in the site. We've also continued to monitor it, and what we're looking at is just working with the province of Manitoba on the green building side of it and seeing if we can get all those approvals and completed so that the project can move forward. Now, service sharing with East St. Paul, we've had some very good discussions. Their development applications have gone forward for a development plan amendment, but the developers are looking, and it looks like we will be having another meeting. I still have a letter to go forward to the railway for looking at a right of way for easements to bring it forward, to bring it south to East St. Paul and move forward on it. As we're moving towards some of our other things, we have standardized on our, as you know, for our committee of the whole meetings, which will bring more public works updates. Things such as where we are with snow clearing, gravel operations, all those kinds of various issues, as well as our utilities, where we are on the landfill and so forth, so that I can keep council up to date so that we can manage these meetings. I know that that's going to be a lot of meetings for some council members, which will turn into 3 per month, if not more, in some cases. As well, the bylaw, the service requests and so forth will be planned at the next meeting. We continue to process the landfill, as I just mentioned. We'll give you a better update later. As to some of the other issues, we did have a meeting with the AMM this fall, or just recently, and they've been able to give some information to us as to where they're headed. We also did finalize a date for the meeting with the Minister for Transportation to finish up our discussions, and that's February the 2nd at 10:30 a.m. I think.
10:45.
10:45
a.m. So please come for 10:30 so that we can be
Yeah.
ready, because it is one of those Zoom meetings. And again, we've only been given an additional 15 minutes. So we will only have that much time to cover all our remaining topics. And so in the meantime, what I will do is, before the meeting on February the 2nd, I will also send our speaking notes from the last meeting that I promised the minister that they can have, so that they can remember what we talked about previously, and we're not rehashing anything. Beyond that, I do have multiple items to discuss in cameras with council.
When is that next meeting with neighbor?
February 2nd,
February 2nd.
Groundhog Day.
I
Right now, 15
think
minutes.
it'll be cold. The ground, but we'll see the shadow.
Okay, so if
I think they're
there,
predicting the groundhog will not see a shadow.
no. Any questions for Deepak, or we can have a chat once we, wrap up here? So Heather, do you have anything you would like to share with us today?
No, I don't.
Okay, so with that, I think I will ask for a resolution to move in camera, and we have a bit of a break till 6 o'clock till our planning items, so if we could just go ahead, please.
To go in there, and to go in camera. Resolve, council recess the regular meeting and go into in camera to discuss legal and personnel issues, and further be it resolved that all matters discussed under remain confidential as per section 83(1)(d) of the Municipal Act.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Strang seconds, all in favor? Opposed?